Welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today, we're going to talk about old business models. Welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. My name is Kale Houser. I appreciate you joining me today. I am the CEO and co-founder of Kale Houser Leadership, along with my amazing wife, Liz Houser. If you have not had an opportunity to meet her or see her, make sure you follow her on Instagram or Facebook. She posts some pretty legit stuff on there as well. And as well, you can join our VIP Leadership Mastermind, and you will see her twice a week on there, and she will be able to lend you her perspective, which is unique in the sense of leadership and the sense of sales and marketing, and is absolutely amazing to see what she is learning and watch her impart that to our mastermind. So today's a little bit of a story hour, hopefully not an hour, but I was thinking about this as this experience came up, and then what it kind of meant and how I could relate it to you, the audience, and similar struggles that you may be going through. So my son and I walked down to our local post office, which is in West Palm Beach here. We had something to mail, and it was in the afternoon. I kind of mistimed it a little bit around the lunch hour instead of waiting after the lunch hour, but we got there. And it's an older post office, like the building itself is just older. So it's not nice and fancy and clean or anything, but no big deal, right? We get there, there's a couple people in front of us in line. They've got the wood dividers, like the old school, like, to be able to handle like 300 people in their line for their post office. They've got their, probably 8 stations for being able to handle customers on their end. And of course, there's 2 people working in there, two gentlemen. And now there's this gal that's in the line, but the end of the line is like way over here, and she's back here at where you would get into the line, and she's talking with the guy that's working in front of her at his kiosk. Well, evidently she has a post office box here at this location, and she was having a problem because her mail was missing. Like, she wasn't getting any mail. She's trying to figure this out. From what I can gather of just being there and in the room, and of course she wasn't like mad, irate, but she was definitely frustrated. Okay, so she wasn't to the point of like screaming and yelling, but you could hear the frustration coming forth in her voice, which rightfully so, understandable. She's paying for this PO box and she's not getting her mail. But now, it puts the gentlemen that are working in an awkward situation, because there's this line of, 5 or 6 of us that are just trying to mail our packages or pick up or whatever. And then they want to help her, but she's like not getting in line because she doesn't feel she has to get in line for handling this situation. So ultimately he says, okay, hold on to everyone else in line. And he goes back and looks. Well, he comes to find out that her name is no longer on the post office box, like that actual physical box. Like I'm guessing, whether it was a boyfriend or, some other person that was on it, but her name is no longer on it. And she's like, what? I've had a post office box here for 2 years. And then all of a sudden, randomly, she's not getting her mail there anymore. She's like, I didn't, do a change of address or anything. And she's going through this. And it kind of got me thinking as she's having this experience, and we'll get more into this story, but there was absolutely a time in our history, in America's history, where having a box at the post office, at your local post office box, was valuable. Like, it was a thing to be sought after, right? Not only does it provide that security, it provides that kind of mystique and that what's the word I'm looking for? Not being well known, like that hidden address, right? Like, maybe you don't want your address out in the public, or it's a business thing or something. But it was absolutely worth the price of the convenience. Maybe you go to the post office often, and it's just easier to have that mail, or you live in an area that doesn't have it. But it was absolutely worth the price of convenience and that security, and certainly the customer service aspect of it. Of when you were at the post office and you had to mail your package, like it was convenience because their customer service level was high. It was a better standard, certainly, than what it is now. So as she's going through this poor young woman, she's going through and trying to figure out, like, what the heck? Like, why is my name not on it? And the guy's basically like, I don't know. I just work here. I'm not the boss. I'm not the supervisor. You're going to have to talk to the postmaster of this location. And of course, she's getting frustrated. And he's like, I'll put your name back on it. Whatever mail that hasn't been returned will get in your box. But essentially, all the mail that she was supposed to have been getting, as you can imagine, they just RTS, return to sender. This person is not at this box anymore. So she's kind of like, my taxes were in there, and like something important was in there. And I felt for her. Like, I felt bad because even the guy's like, I have no reason for you. I do not know why your name would not be on the box anymore, especially because he looked it up. He's like, yeah, you've been with us for like 18 plus months. Like, there's no reason for this. So it just got me thinking about the post office, the United States Postal Service as an organization. Like, they are no longer that. They are operating on an old business model. And you may be finding yourself and your organization and your business in a similar situation where what worked in the past, or the level of service and resources that you could apply to your business 10, 15, 20 years ago, 5 years ago, doesn't work anymore. It's no longer meeting the needs of your customers. It's not providing that customer service experience that you originally founded your business on. And you may be like the post office. Now, as I started thinking about this more, as I do, as I'm out and about handling the situations, and my son is there with me, and I'm like, oh, this is a teachable moment. They had two people working. One of them was, like, no kidding, the main manager guy, not the postmaster, but the main manager supervisor, and then, the regular postal worker. And as I'm thinking, like, every time I've been in here, there's only ever been one person here, maybe two on occasion, but usually one. And you never see anybody in the back because it's set up to where you can kind of see into the back areas of the post office where they do the sorting and things like that, just the various windows and doorways. And like, there's never anyone there. Like, this place is a ghost town. And you know that they're having the same struggles that everyone else because they're a government agency. There's people that haven't come back to work because of the jabs. There are people that have stayed on unemployment that haven't come back. There are people that are, just don't want to go back to that job after shutting down our country and being part of that type of organization anymore. So they're having all the same struggles of employment and things like that. But now the additional struggles of you're working for a government agency. But it really comes down to, and this was from a perspective of being a customer as well as somebody that, is in business, like, there is zero accountability for this young lady. Like, this was an error, 100% on the post office and on probably somebody in that office, that local. It's not like it came down from post office headquarters here. It was somebody at this location that had removed her name off of this box at some point in time for some reason. But it was obviously an error. But she has no recourse whatsoever. There is zero accountability. Whoever did that in the wrong, whether through lack of training, lack of accountability, or they were just didn't know what they were doing, whatever the reason, like, there's no accountability. And beyond accountability of, compensation or accommodating her needs, their customers' needs, there is no accountability to fix the problem of whatever caused it in the first place. Because that is the culture of their organization. That is the way they operate it. Now, is this, turning back to you as a business owner, as the leader in your organization, is this your business model? Are you operating on something that legitimately may have been great at one point in time, legitimately was meeting the needs of your customers, you were growing, everyone was happy, like it was a heyday? Or are you now operating in a deficit? Are you now operating to where people are waking up to the fact that you are no longer valuable, let alone worth what they are paying you, because their experience is so bad? And there is no accountability. There is no trust and faith that when errors are made, because people understand mistakes are made, errors and omissions happen, oversights happen. But when you enter this customer-client relation, there is an expectation as the customer that people have of your business that when those mistakes happen, something will take place to correct it so it doesn't continue to happen. And I would argue in the post office that will not happen, and that does not happen. So do your customers feel valued based on their trust in your service, or are you just taking advantage of that old established trust? Not that this has to be a what have you done for me lately type of mentality, but there has to certainly be an understanding of how your market changes, how the customer experience changes, how your resources and the application of such changes, in order to still meet those needs. And it may be time that you completely change your business model. Maybe you're not focused on customer service anymore. But then how does it reflect that? How does your business reflect that? And what changes are you making to continue to get customers? Whatever that looks like for you. So I hope you found that kind of interesting, beneficial. Take a look the next time if you go to the post office. And as I was talking to my son, I'm like, this is why the advent of the UPS store. This is why the advent of FedEx Office. Like, people now have alternatives to get, the convenience, the security, the safety of a post office box, of an external box outside of their mailbox at their home. But now it's to a company that is interested in making profit, and is interested in, correcting problems as they happen, both on the local and the national level, for these bigger corporations. So that needs to be you. I would highly encourage you as a business owner, whatever it is in product service you offer, be interested in providing that value to your customer base based on the trust that they have in you, and do your darndest to not betray that trust. And if it happens by mistake, omission, or otherwise, do your darndest to mend that relationship and fulfill that trust that you will address the issue and fix it, whatever that means. Training, resources, whatever, change of policy, processes. Okay? If you find this fantastic, hope you find it beneficial. That is my intention. Leave me a DM if there's something I can help you with specifically, or if you found a similar experience, or maybe you've got that post office that is just amazing, and you look forward to going in there every time because their customer service is outstanding. They're still adhering to that old business model versus others that are just so drowning in their current situation that they cannot. But I would encourage you to keep your business model up to date and how you address these types of things, no matter where you're at. Well, have a fantastic afternoon. Bye.